Okay guys, so today we're talking about Aliens Dark Descent. And if you don't know what this game is, I don't blame you, because this kind of just shadow dropped with absolutely no marketing, at least from my algorithm and what I got. So they showed this game off a while ago at something. I assume it's the Xbox showcase last year, or one of the summer showcases. I don't know what it was, but they showed this game off a tiny bit, and I never saw anything of it ever again. So it came out probably 2 days ago by the time you see this video, and so I tried it. I don't have a lot of gameplay, I don't have too much to show because I tried it, and spoilers, I didn't love it, so I didn't play too much of it, but I just wanted to give you guys my quick thoughts before you're thinking of dropping your 40 bucks in this current drought we get in the middle of the year of games. So if you don't know what this game is at all, it's your tactical turn-based strategy shooter, right? Something like XCOM is what a lot of people compare it to in their reviews, what people compare it to on the store, and so that's what I came in expecting. Now, in a lot of ways it is the camera angle, the way it moves, the way the characters move, a lot of the abilities like suppressive fire, the way grenades work, the area of effect, all that type of stuff. It's very much like an XCOM, but some things that are a bit different that I personally don't like are some of the things that are unique to this game, or at least pulled from other types of games in this genre and not directly XCOM. So I want to kind of give you a fair comparison and not just call this an XCOM game with an alien skin on it. So what are those things I'm talking about? Well, there's stealth elements here, and those types of games like XCOM have stealth elements, but they're emphasized strangely here. In my opinion, it's not really used in a way to sneak attack and kind of get a stealth bonus on the enemy, and while that is a thing, it's first introduced as a way of hiding. Well, it's fine, I have no problem with it, it's just a nitpick that I wanted to call out. My biggest problem with the game, I'm not going to say it blatantly, I played for, let me check, an hour and 25 minutes, and you don't really fire your gun in this game, but essentially we fired our weapons once. And I know this is the type of game that's very long, it's stretched out, it's a strategy game, but I mean, like, this is it. This is the one time I'm almost certain that I fired weapons. Other than that, not once. It's a lot of walking around, going around, clicking on this objective, clicking on that objective. Think of something like XCOM combat-wise, but just that's not utilized well. It's a lot of just walking around open areas and exploring and activating antennas and comms arrays and stuff like that to get to the combat. And actually, a perfect comparison is Midnight Suns. So Midnight Suns is like your Marvel strategy turn-based thing. Not the same type of game, but it has the same problem, and it's the ratio problem, right? So if you look at Midnight Suns, I have multiple videos on it, I think. You go through, and the gameplay is really good. Boiling down by review, it's really good, it's really strong. I would play it if you could get to the gameplay more, but having to walk around the hub and essentially point click your way around the game to get to the combat is boring as hell. And that's the same problem here. There's a lot of point clicking, going around, activating stuff, checking on people and stuff like that just to get to the combat. And I know people are going to complain, oh, we only got like an hour and a half in, you just didn't get to it. I'm sure there is combat there. I'm sure there's a lot of combat in the game because they built this whole system around it. But just showing that they have to explain this much navigation and moving around the environment to you early on means that there's going to be a lot of it later on, and I just want to focus on the combat. That's what these types of games are fun, that's what they're good at, that's why I play them. And so let me actually talk about the combat a little bit. So yes, this is where the game mostly mirrors XCOM. The reason I like it a little bit less is because it uses a group system. So in something, I know I've said the word XCOM about 400 times by now, but in games like XCOM, your units are individualized, right? So you have, you know, your assault, your medic, your sniper, your grenadier, whatever, and that's here in this game. But for the most part, you're controlling a single group and telling them what to do in real time instead of a turn-based strategy type game. And so if you're going to compare the two games, I just want to get that out of the way. It's not completely one for one. It is more real time, and you are controlling the group as a whole for the most part, and not each individual guy, depending, you know, sitting there and choosing, okay, well, I want to take this shot on this guy, use this ability as this guy. It's all group based. Now, all of that being said, the cutscenes are pretty damn good, right? They look really good. They're interesting. It's not boring. Even though I've only seen one of these movies, I understand what's happening, and there's a lot of action in the cutscenes, not so much in the gameplay, but the cutscenes are fun to watch. So really, boiling everything down, giving you a simple answer, is this worth $40? If the gameplay is interesting enough to you that you can validate running around and doing all of the other stuff to get to the gameplay, then you'll like this game. If you can't, if you're like me and you get bored too quickly in those sections between the gameplay, which are a lot, then this might be one you want to skip on. But this is just going to be your personal preference. If you really like the gameplay, I think you'll be fine here if you like these types of games. If you're an impatient person like me, then you might want to skip out on this one. But you guys let me know what you think down in the comments below, and I'll see you guys on the next one.